and gentlemen, let's go. We ain't got no time to waste. Let's go. You are now listening to Jason Anderson, and you are in the zone.
You're in the zone with Jason Anderson on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
So, with the 29th pick in the 2022 Pay the Noise NFL Mock Draft, James Anderson, the Kansas City Chiefs, select who? James Anderson joining us right now on Sports Radio 810 in Kansas City. James, let's talk running backs.
Yeah, excellent stuff. James, we're up against it. We appreciate the time, my man. Fantastic insight and information. We're looking forward to talking to you down the road. Enjoy the draft.
Absolutely, man. You guys too, anytime.
All right, there he goes. James Anderson, host of the Zone Midday Sports Radio 810 in KC.
You're in the zone on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
All right, a Monday edition of The Zone right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Josh Brisco, Dylan Michaels. We head up until 2 o'clock. The next 4 hours, we've got you a lot of stuff to get into and talk about today, as it was almost a perfect weekend for the local sports, the local teams. It did not end up being that. It's not a Victory Monday, but it's 75% of Victory Monday. K-State, KU Sporting, and all winning, and Chiefs losing yesterday. They lose 24-9 to the Broncos. KU knocking off Oklahoma 38-33. K-State just waxing Houston on Saturday.
Who could have seen that coming?
41-0. I was pretty much spot on all my takes for the local football teams this weekend.
Thank God this is a football show.
Told you that K-State would dominate Houston and lay the points. It's going to be a bloodbath. That actually is true. Told you that the KU-Oklahoma game would be a one-possession game in the fourth quarter at the end. I had Oklahoma winning, so I was wrong about that, but I knew it would be close, and credit to Jason Bean on a phenomenal play on fourth down, and they get the win, and just a great win. Historic win, monumental for Lance Leipold and KU to win that game, because this one feels so much more legit than going to Texas a couple of years ago, 38-33 beating Oklahoma. So I got that one, and then I told everybody, like, the Chiefs are going to lose to the Broncos. This is going to be a game where you do not want to take the Chiefs minus the points. That was wrong. I was clearly dead wrong about that one. I think a lot of people were dead wrong about that one, except for maybe the pros, because that line kept going down and down and down. Got to, at one point, I think it got down to 6 and then jumped back up to 6.5. I think it ended at 6.5, so it ended under a touchdown. And that was clearly the right side, was Broncos plus the points, because the Chiefs just did not bring it. For whatever reason, there are a lot of things that went into yesterday's game. A lot of things to talk about from yesterday's game. A lot of things to break down. We will continue breaking down, college football throughout the week with Oklahoma's huge win and K-State getting ready for Texas, Mizzou getting ready for Georgia, and of course, Sporting just dominating the lower case of the country in a 4-1 victory. Just embarrassing them is what they did. And that's good, because it's deserved is what it is. We will spend the day talking some football. So 4-1 Sporting, let's get into it right now. 913-381-810. What was your favorite goal yesterday
Somebody to pick
in the
from.
game? Right, there's 4 of them. I don't even know. I mean, probably Gotti Kinda, because that was, just and Dembe would get it started. Just the laser that he hit. Voltaire was an awesome goal. It was great. Almost as many goals as turnovers for the Chiefs. Which, going into that game, you'd have been like, okay.
I can live with that.
That's probably terrible for Sporting.
Yeah.
That's not great for Sporting.
My experience last night was I left here. As I left the building, it was 0-0. By the time I got home, it was 1-1. By the time I got the TV turned on, it was 3-1. So you can tell exactly when I did every step of that process. You can figure out exactly how long my drive home was, how long it took me to find the remote. That game was a blast.
Yeah.
And the only game yesterday that mattered to me.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, I don't even know any other game that.
Did you see my new thing? You see my new trash talk I started for St. Louis?
No. Oh, I saw the. I did see that.
Arches down.
Arches down.
Arches down.
I like that.
We need a hand gesture.
I'll take it.
That's what I'm offering.
All right, 913-381-0810
I
is
was
the
leaving
phone
from
number.
doing the post-game show yesterday when the Chiefs lost.
That's right.
Damn
That's
it.
the only. What were you driving home from? I'm not sure.
I thought I was just here for fun.
913-381-0810 is the phone number. We open up the phone lines. First couple of hours wide open. Day after a Chiefs game. 913-381-0810 is the phone number. We will certainly get into your phone calls and text 913-912-4810. We will talk with Field Yates coming up at noon. NFL Insider from ESPN. We'll hear from Andy Reid, his press conference today as they get ready for a trip to Germany to take on the Miami Dolphins. 8:30 in the morning on Sunday morning. NFL Network. Locally on
I believe it'll be on Kushba. We can confirm that with Mick Schaefer.
Kasiba. Okay, great. So either way, that game coming up 8:30 Sunday morning, and then Sporting and St. Louis at 4 o'clock Central, right? But kind of like 4:20, 4:25, 4:30, something like that.
That's too bad that's the game in Kansas.
Good call. Tailgate in Missouri.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. Tailgate in Missouri.
Do what you got to do. Mick Schaefer will be our guest, KSHB 41 sports director, coming up at 1 o'clock. Learn funniest best. Let's get into the show. Let's get into the game. 24-9. The Chiefs lose to the Broncos yesterday. And the big question coming out of that is, what the hell happened, man? Well, I mean, we talked about it, but I ignored it. We discussed it last week, but I dismissed it. Cliche trap game. You know, it's you just played what you felt like was one of your best games, all three phases playing together. You're playing a team that you felt like you dominated but didn't score enough points only because of the red zone, and you'll fix that, and you'll get into the red zone, and you'll get some touchdowns when you get there against this Broncos team. You've won 16 in a row, and then you've got Germany and the Dolphins right after that. So, yeah, it had all the makings. But I really felt coming off that Chargers game and the way they played against the Broncos that there would be a lot more of the Chiefs' first three quarters, but being able to get things done in the red zone and execute the way that they did not the first go-around against the Broncos in the red zone, rather than what was the fourth quarter, essentially, late third, fourth quarter, when, the Broncos, since the Chiefs jumped out 16-0, 32-9 or 32-12, the Broncos over the Chiefs. And I thought it would be closer to the Chiefs just simply moving the ball up and down the field. Now, hearing Patrick Mahomes had the flu the night before wasn't great. People immediately talked about Patrick Mahomes' flu game. The only difference is Patrick Mahomes had the flu. He didn't just get wasted and hung over the next day. So it actually was a flu game for Patrick Mahomes. That's, I guess, what you would look like if you had the flu, not just hung over from drinking a lot the night before.
I do think it's cool and a sign of solidarity that the entire city is sick today. I do think that's a good way of showing support.
That's exactly right. And so it was a very lethargic game. And the first couple possessions, when it was the punt and then the Broncos driving down the field, I thought, rough start to the game, not really feeling it. I certainly don't feel good about my thoughts that the Chiefs were just going to move up and down the field, especially with Mahomes looking lethargic, but the whole team sort of looks lethargic. I'm not feeling good early. But it's the Chiefs, and it's the inevitability that we always talk about of the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. But we did discuss last week all of those different things going into it, and the what in the hell October game. That is the annual rite of passage for Chiefs teams under Andy Reid. And this was the last chance for a what the hell October game. So historically speaking, it had all the makings of what ended up taking place. It does not take away the the disappointment, the frustration, some anger that's out there, and worry, concern, legit reactions and overreactions that take place after a loss like that. I thought it was a lethargic game. I thought the defense held their own. Offensively, looked rough. 5 turnovers don't help. Fumbles, interception forcing it to Kelsey. Mahomes can't save the day all on his own. Also, the All-22 will tell us if there were open receivers. I know on the Kelsey interception, there was at least one open receiver. It was Sky Moore. Sky was also open for a great throw and a touchdown that he just dropped. So I'm not assuming that Sky Moore is going to catch that ball. It won't be an interception. It would have been 2nd down and 10. Maybe that's the frustrating part, is that 1st and 10 you tried to force it into Travis Kelsey, and it's an interception on a 1st down. The 5 turnovers ultimately were crippling for this team. The last 2 losses in the AFC West for the Chiefs, they have turned the ball over 9 times. 9 times. There's your recipe for success against the Chiefs in the AFC West. Can you turn them over 9 times? They had 4 turnovers against the Chargers, the most recent loss before yesterday, and 5 turnovers yesterday. And really, even if you want to say 4 turnovers, because it was a 4th and 27 arm punt for Patrick Mahomes, and they were down at that point 21-9. So does that turnover really matter? No, it didn't.
It was better than an incompletion for field position.
Yeah. I mean, shoot, they still got the ball.
Dylan.
We both did that. I mean, shoot, they still got the ball.
That would look, shoot
Boy.
with a little frog in your throat sounds like anything. I just heard shoot twice.
Woo. Boy, I'll tell you what, I am relaxed today. You want to know if you're relaxed and you're just simply talking about what you saw the day before and getting ready to break it down? That's one way to tell.
I think you could have played that. You could have played that one off.
I mean, shoot, they got the ball at the 20-yard line after that interception. But crippling. Josh, you want to take it from here?
Sure. No, look, I mean, crippling. You want to talk about crippling mistakes? No, I think.
No, it was
fair.
it was devastating. The 5 turnovers in the game, and you can't overcome that. It's hard to do. Overcome that when 24 points are scored by the opposing team when they gain 104 total yards on those 4 drives. 104 yards. They averaged 26 yards per drive to score 26 points or 24 points. There's not much you can ask more from the defense other than, hey, you should get some turnovers, which they did. They got 2 turnovers when the Chiefs turned the ball over. They got the ball back to the Chiefs after a Chiefs turnover. Twice. Josh, go ahead. Shoot, take it away, Josh.
Well, shoot. The thing we're not going to do today is we're not going to make this about the Chiefs' defense. We're on the same page there. The 3 touchdown drives the Broncos had were 39 yards, 50 yards, and 10 yards. And then the field goal at the end, you handed it over to them down there because you're just trying to make something happen at the very end. This is the Chiefs' defense doing its job yet again, and another time when we are legitimately here talking about how the Chiefs' defense not only did enough to win, they did enough to win even with all those turnovers. If Sky Moore catches that pass, and if McCole Hardman doesn't muff that punt, we might be talking about, wow, what a heart ripper of a game to take the Broncos to 17-0, and this is the most dominant rivalry stretch in the history of NFL sports, whatever. The issues are all on the offensive side.
Yes.
And it was interesting last night hearing both Reeds, Andy and Justin, and Patrick Mahomes talk about energy, the Broncos not doing anything different than 2 weeks ago. It worked 2 weeks ago. It worked again today. The one thing that I was kind of just digging through for a while, and then our friend Matt Lane of KCSN tweeted it out. We kind of went back and forth on some little, just figuring out what exactly it felt like. The offense simultaneously felt stale and gimmicky, which is something we've seen in the red zone and short yardage before too. And once again, if the Chiefs didn't turn the ball over and have red zone problems, that we wouldn't be having this conversation. But what Matt tweeted was that they were just robbing the Rolodex of junk plays because basic, simple concepts aren't working for a myriad of reasons. Beyond that, we talked about this last night with Matt Derrick. Isaiah Pacheco was running the ball at 5 yards a carry, and they just stopped doing that. Instead, it was a lot of those little swings or checkdowns or throws to the flat for Jerick McKinnon or Pacheco or anybody else. Everything was so horizontal. And then Lane also mentioned, it felt like a group of 5 team It's like, all right, we're going to bring out all the wacky stuff because if we just line up and play Georgia here, we're just not going to get it done. And the Chiefs shouldn't feel like they're playing Georgia. They have Patrick Mahomes, and they have Rashee Rice, who was getting open and obviously still had a drop of his own. But you mentioned the All-22. And I said this last night because I think it's important couching. To be completely definitive about things like what receivers are doing downfield without the All-22 is a good way to make yourself sound like a fool by Tuesday, right? Like to be like this, no one got open and Mahomes hates his receivers.
We had that feeling after the Lions game, and then we looked back and we're like, okay, there were some open receivers that Mahomes didn't see or didn't trust, or maybe there was a read over on one side that's what he was looking at only, and the backside was open. Maybe because the backside was open for a reason that the Lions saw. There are a lot of things that go into that, but it's like, okay, there were some guys that were open in that game against the Lions. It wasn't just a bunch of guys who were blanketed.
And I think it's going to be a mixed bag here again, much in the same way that it is for the offensive line. Think about especially when the line has been even worse. And I don't think it was a good game yesterday, but I think Mahomes was exacerbating that, which I don't think you have to dump.
Shoot, you wouldn't.
The thing we can't see downfield. We can't see the safeties in the broadcast view. We can't see what all the receivers are doing. And it's hard to watch all of it in real time and properly evaluate 22 players on the field. But we can watch Patrick Mahomes every single rep. And when Patrick Mahomes throws a football that is broken up to a 6-year veteran, and then after the play, he is waving, come back to the football, to the 6-year vet in year 2 in this offense. When he is bypassing an open Sky Moore for a forced throw for Travis Kelce. When Rashee Rice, who has earned the trust back, and he lets you down in a big moment also. Mm-hmm. When you bring back McCole Hardman, a guy who should have some faith built up, and he does nothing offensively and then has a horrible special teams miscue. I can't see all 22 players on the field in real time, but I can see Mahomes. And Mahomes yesterday looked like a guy who did not trust 9 of his teammates. He was looking for Travis Kelce. The Broncos knew that, and everything else was just sort of labored and difficult.